at this point, it's not even if there's going to be a data breach, it's going to be when. We see that
Yeah.
with our existing customers. They have data breaches all the time, and they have even the ones with the best security stacks. And then it's just a matter of having that amazing team that's able to respond and get it out and take the actions. I'm sure it's exactly like that with the supply chain. Cybersecurity is a component of that. There's all these other risks completely compounding it. You need to have those relationships. You need to have that network of strong partnerships that you're able and plans and backup plans to keep the business moving forward. Because, like you said, in the example of Clorox or Toyota, and those are probably some of the bigger examples, but if you're a smaller company, that it might not be as big monetarily hit, but percentage wise of your revenue, it might be just as big. The impact can be just as bad, and the destruction of the business is just as catastrophic.
Yeah. And here's one thing that most companies don't get, right? Whether you're a small company, large company, you have a cyber breach, your manufacturing shuts down, your customers might actually move on from you. If you are shut down for a longer period of time, and research has shown this, right? The impact to your business is not temporary, it is actually multi-year. So imagine a situation where you're down and your customer has to find a new supplier, and they sign a 3-year contract with that new supplier. You're out of luck for 3 years now. So that impact is no longer for a few days or weeks or what have you. It's going to be ongoing for you. And imagine the consequences to your brand. This is a cyber breach you are talking about, right? It's not like, okay, we had a flood, we can't do anything about it or couldn't have done anything about it. It's a cyber breach.
Yeah, that's huge. So there's a company, we do a lot in the post-acute space outside of the hospital, any kind of healthcare. We do a lot of work in there. And there's one company I'm thinking of. They had spent years marketing, being in, the magazines, being at the events, and they had grown their business very large. And they had it was also a ransomware. It shut down. They were doing cloud infrastructure hosting for their customers, and all their customers went down. All the data was lost, not even recoverable. I don't even know how they survived that event, but they have survived it. But now their name's like a dirty word, right? Their brand, who's going to want to go there? They can, tell a story of how they've improved things. But I would think if I was an owner of a business, there'd be no way that I would ever want to take that risk.
Yeah. Completely agreed. As much as we talk about these IT hacks, it's the OT side of it. If you were to ask me what keeps me awake at night, that's what really is of concern, right? All the control systems that go into the shop floors, the warehouses, distribution centers, so much of it is so old. So much of it, as much, and again, we also hear this, right? Oh yeah, I have an air gap between my IT and OT systems. Come on. We know that's not the case always. And, those traditional honeypot attacks can easily help you cross over between that gap if that gap even was there in the first place. The problem with those control systems is, yes, a hacker could lock them up for profit, but also you could have a situation where, because they control physical systems, you could create, the hacker could actually cause physical harm. And that's a big issue, right? And you could actually, cause physical harm to a factory, shutting it down for a long period. Worse, you could actually impact health for people who work at the factory and people around the factory.
Man, definitely something to think about.